You ready for four downs right here? I'm going to do a little four downs here. Around the room.
Four downs with Rich.
Here we go.
First down.
First down, as I talked about with Peter King, we talked about it, GM. I've been at this football thing with the NFL Network straight up since 2003. When we came on the air, the Patriots were on their way to a 14-win season, and Carolina was ready to shock the world, if you remember, with Deshaun Foster and Jake Delhomme and Steve Smith and Muhsin Muhammad. They went on that run all the way to the Super Bowl. But all season long, it looked like, New England was going to do it. I'm just pointing this out to say every year there appears to be a clear-cut front runner and then a bunch of guys or a bunch of teams that either outperform. One year, Pittsburgh went 15-1 while New England was going 14-2. We all thought that they might make the Super Bowl. New England made it anyway to take on an Eagles team with Terrell Owens. Year after year, there are clear-cut front runners that by Week 16 are right there as the most likely candidates, and then the rest of the league with you never know. Now it's just a whole big mosh pit of you never know, a big bowl of you never know, to use the Jeff Garland phrase. It is the most wide-open Super Bowl race I can remember in doing. It is the most wide-open race I've seen. And just to back it up, I will just tell you right now, just knowing again that the Saints, Rams, Bears, Cowboys, Seahawks, and Vikings are currently your 1 through 6 seeds in the NFC. Right now, the 3 seed, the Bears, have beaten the 2-seeded Rams. The 4th-seeded Cowboys have beaten the 1-seeded Saints. The 5th-seeded Seahawks have beaten both the 4-seeded Cowboys and 6th-seeded Vikings. The 2-seeded Rams have beaten the number 5-seed Seahawks twice and the 6th-seed once. The 1-seed has beaten the 2-seed. Saints have beaten the Rams. And the 7th seed are the defending champion Philadelphia Eagles. Anybody can win there. In the AFC, Chiefs, Texans, Patriots, Steelers, Chargers, Ravens are currently the 1 through 6. The 3 seed has beaten the 1 and 2 seeds. The Patriots have beaten the Chiefs and the Texans. The 4th-seeded Steelers have beaten the 3-seeded Patriots. The 1-seeded Chiefs have beaten the 4, 5, and 6 seeds. The 6th seed and the Ravens have beaten the 4-seeded Steelers. The 5-seeded Chargers have beaten the 1st-seeded Chiefs and the 4-seeded Steelers. And they take on the 6th-seeded Ravens coming up this weekend.
Wow.
Wide open. And then you got the Colts and Titans sitting out there. You never know. Wide open race. Second down, please.
Second down.
All right, second downs. Patrick Mahomes entering Week 16 is your clear-cut front runner for the MVP. It's his to lose. He goes up to Seattle and does his usual business. It's a lock. It's a lock. Last week, he had less than 250 yards passing for the first time all season, and he barely missed it by just a couple of yards. And 2 touchdowns, and that was an off game for him. People who have him in fantasy were bitching about it. He has been dynamic and consistent from day one. Breeze, we all know, in the last couple of weeks lost in Dallas and had 2 tough road games in which it was the running game and defense that had to score some points towards the end. And Todd Gurley has been banged up. He has fallen by the wayside. Phillip Rivers has put his hat in the ring. And if he's the 1 seed, he might win it when it all comes down to it, depending on what Mahomes does over the last 2 weeks. But it is his to lose. And I know Khalil Mack and Aaron Donald might be in the mix, but it's a quarterback-driven award unless a running back scores 19 million touchdowns, and that hasn't happened this year. So after all the conversation year in and year long, week in, week out, it's Pat Mahomes' MVP trophy to lose, and I think he's going to get it. And by the way, I think he needs what? He needs a grand total of 5 touchdowns to tie Peyton Manning. Give me that number exactly when you come down to it.
Stand by.
Third down, please. Hit third down.
Third down.
All right. Joe Flacco is going to be on the open market. Now, where does he make most sense to? A lot of folks are throwing Jacksonville's name out there. He's 33 years of age with a Super Bowl ring in his back pocket. And he's coming off of a hip injury that I'm sure he will medically prove to everybody that will not be a problem moving forward. To me, he might be the most expensive item on the free agent market because he's not going to be returning to the Baltimore Ravens. To me, the wildest yet most sense it would make is if John Elway reaches out to him and brings him to Denver, Colorado, where it appears, again, with all due respect to Case Keenum, and I know how we also use the all due respect moniker here, caveat on the Rich Eisen show by saying something disrespectful. I don't think it's disrespectful to say, and I think Broncos fans would say, this is not the guy that even if they do build up this passing game somehow and protect him, is the guy to go ahead and win it. Philip Lindsay just made the Pro Bowl as the first undrafted player to make the Pro Bowl. Emmanuel Sanders was having one of the best receiving seasons of a 30-some-odd-year-old running receiver we've seen in recent memories. The defense has Von Miller balling out and Bradley Chubb on it, and they've got 6 wins. Now, you could point the finger at the coach, but it is a quarterback-driven league, and I think John Elway is going to have a couple of choices here. Sitting there with a draft choice in the low teens, or Joe Flacco, whose last game in that building was a dynamite 3-touchdown, 300-yard overtime win on the way to having a postseason of the ages and lifting the Lombardi Trophy. I think Joe Flacco kind of works there in Denver. Now, the cap hit they'd have to take on Keenum would be large. It would be a $10 million cap hit. If they just cut him, they could hold on to him and have a backup with a $19 million cap charge. There's a lot of things about what I'm saying that I understand does not make financial sense. But taking a Super Bowl winning quarterback in free agency on the back 9 of his career has worked. And he's 4 years younger than Peyton Manning was when he first showed up in Denver. That's third down. Here's my fourth down.
Fourth down.
Yes. Fourth down time. I love it. Hot play, take. That's definitely not right. Okay.
It's the hot take plank. I'm
Hot
clutching
take
it. The
plank.
Rich Eisen Show hot take plank.
What did I say?
A hot plank take or something
it.
like that.
No,
You do
not-
that like almost
not
every
right.
week.
Not
I'd
right.
love to get like an actual montage of drops of you kindly, by the way, filling the dead
I'm
air.
just
of me
trying- yeah,
getting
there's
up from
just
the
dead
chair
space. Just
to
dead
go
space.
clutch the hot take plank.
It's my
where
favorite part of the week, and
it
I
rests-
always screw it up.
It rests on the column
Yes.
that supports the roof of this wonderful
it's
AT&T
wearing
studios
my
just off.
jacket.
All right. Is it wearing
That
your?
was my jacket.
It's not
yeah.
really a jacket. It's a zip-up pullover. You guys
And
just
it has
be
a
quiet while I
smiley
get the
face
fourth
on
down
it.
here. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here we go.
Wait, are you going down the Browns wormhole again?
I think I have absolutely bled that dry.
Yeah, there's no more hot takes about the Browns.
Well,
I mean, they're a good team at this point.
My hot takes for the Browns have been the following, okay? That they weren't going to be picking in the top 10 in the draft.
Okay, I think you nailed that.
That when Greg Williams was named interim head coach, that they would win as many games as they've lost.
They're going to nail that, too.
Well, they already have. He's won 4. They've got 2 more to go. He will win at least, the very worst, win as many games as he's losing.
That's
and
crazy.
I nailed that. And then 2 weeks ago, I said that they would win out and finish 8-7-1. They won in Denver, did they not?
We're halfway home.
I can't say that they're going to make the playoffs right now because I looked it up, by the way.
Okay.
They have to win all their remaining games.
Right.
The Ravens have to lose to the Chargers
Okay.
because they play the Ravens last. So they would be able to take care of the Ravens losing out personally. The Dolphins have to lose 1 game. The Colts and Titans have to lose in Week 16. And then both of them would have to tie in Week 17. Ain't happening. That's like landing on the head of a pin. I'm not going to choose that.
All right, okay.
Okay. So I am going to take not the Dolphins, but the team that's right up in front of them. Those guys. And behind the Ravens and Colts. And focusing on my good friend Taylor Lewan, who congratulations on making his first Pro Bowl at tackle for the AFC. I am going to say the Titans, who are currently behind the Colts, sniffing it. I can't believe we put In the Hunt up on the Rich Eisen Show graphic screen right here.
Wow.
They're sniffing it, okay? So right now, the team that is sniffing it, the Titans, all they would have to do is win out, which is home against Washington, and then home against Indianapolis. And I know that Andrew Luck's beaten their team 10 straight times. And then have either the Ravens or Steelers lose once. That's it. And the Steelers are in New Orleans, and the Titans make the playoffs. So I'm going to say the Tennessee Titans are going to be your 6th seed. And it's entirely possible. You know what? I'll go one better. I'll go one better and say that the Steelers will be out.
Wow.
And the Ravens will be the 4 seed, and the Titans will be the 6 seed, and the Steelers will be out. Looking in. How about that? I just even workshopped that hot take.
Gosh. So Steelers out.
Ravens 4 seed, Titans 6.
Tomlin fired. New Jets coach.
No way. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. How many touchdowns does
he has 45, so he needs 5 to tie Tom Brady, 10 to tie Peyton Manning.
There you go. I think he's going to throw 50 touchdowns. He'll be the MVP, man.
I think so.
He'll throw 5 touchdowns.
Unless-
he might throw 5 against
unless-
the Raiders Week 17 alone.
Lay an egg in Seattle. Philly Riv wins out. Balls out. Philly Riv, backdoor MVP.
It's entirely possible, man.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.